And then I think for a data scientist, I think, just kind of like we were discussing in the developer context, like we're constantly looking to increase the level of abstraction, make some of the more routine tasks more efficient. I think there's been a trend on this in general as we have more kind of BI tools available, things like AutoML available, where a lot of those implementation tasks are just further automated for you, and you can kind of focus more on the more sophisticated tasks, on the creative logic kind of behind the solutions that you're working on.
Very cool. Yeah, it's been a game changer for me. And I've even done hour-long keynotes on this idea of how when you no longer are responsible for writing every line of code, it allows you as a data scientist or as a software developer to be able to think kind of one level up. And you still need to understand code.
And of course, you could do that more broadly, asking the AI to teach you history, to create a lesson plan for linear algebra, developing homework assignments, answer guides. You can also, have it adapt depending on which answers you know versus not. I've seen examples of people using AI to write and illustrate children's book or make a personalized story for a specific child. So there's just so many directions that you can go with it, and it's amazing what it can produce. I think we're still in a state where people are still learning what you can do with this tool and capability, right? Even just like prompt sharing is a thing in a community, and you kind of get wowed saying like, wow, I didn't realize I could use it for this. And so I feel like there's like that first step of just even knowing how to use these tools, and then the second on kind of diving into, your scenarios as well.
Yeah, that is a very cool comparison. Yeah, so these kind of big shifts that we've seen in tech in our lifetimes, obviously the internet, that's a big one. And I guess even just personal computing, at least for people, for me, being able to, so yeah, personal computing, the internet, personalization was a huge one that you mentioned earlier, cloud compute that you just talked about now, and generative AI. It seems to me like generative AI is as big as any of these things, and it builds on all of them.
So I think once you go to the centralized models, there you get all of those benefits with, the sharing of best practices, efficiencies of scale, and the natural growth for individuals. But there you have to be really intentional about, getting those other benefits from the embedding. And so I guess the way that I generally like to design the org is that, we kind of centralize to a certain critical mass. And then within, myself and then each of my leads and all the way through the org, each data scientist has a counterpart and a leadership team that they're part of. And so when you have that product, engineering, user research, design counterpart, then you're working together towards a common goal, sharing insights along the way. And you can kind of work on broader sweeping impactful changes.